Hey, Herkimer. Way to show up and show out. I'm so proud of you all. We got some more still coming, so I'm going to kill some time with some gentle prattle here. First of all, I do want to introduce myself. My name is Marie Duquette. It rhymes with don't forget, Marie Duquette. And I am a pastor in the Lutheran tradition, a progressive pastor in the Lutheran Church. Before I became a pastor, went through 4 years of seminary. Before that happened, I was a journalist. And this moment in time is greatly concerning to me. Just a little bit about myself, since I haven't had the pleasure of meeting very many of you. Well, first thing I want to say is all of the musicians and drummers and people that were leading chants, go you. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Yeah. So, as a pastor, I have served I was born and raised in Detroit. I've served in Ann Arbor, down in Florida on the Atlantic side in Melbourne Beach, Columbus, Ohio area, farmlands of Columbus, and now I am in New Hartford at Zion Lutheran Church and Trinity Lutheran Church in Herkimer, New York. So there you go. And I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so pleased that you brought words, because they told me to bring words, but I didn't bring enough for the time, so I'm going to read some of yours. Look at all this. All my outrage can't fit on any sign. Can I get an amen? Don't make me repeat myself, signed history. Can I get an amen? No tyrants, no kings, not now, not ever. Okay, some of these I got to skip. All due respect, but I am a pastor right now, so. Oh, this one I really do love. There's a graveyard for dead Antifa. It's called Arlington. Lots of peace, love, USA, which I love. Oh, look, we have a public service announcement. Francis Greats, I have your MasterCard. You want it? Francis Greats, okay. Person who pulled this all together, my friend Jill, has Francis Greats' MasterCard now. Can we have a hand for Jill? All right, well, I think most people are off the street. We wanted to get people off the street before it got dark, and there's not a lot of light out there, so let's see. So, there are some who have been trying to build this second No King's Day, where there were protests and rallies and marches in 2,600 cities and counting. About 5 o'clock this evening, they were guessing we had 7 million strong. And that's the good news. Okay, but some people were trying to bill this as an anti-American protest, an anti-American rally. And if this is anti-American, why do you all have United States flags? I'd like to know. Because they're everywhere, aren't they? This is not an anti-American anything. Today is about we love America. Do we not? We love this country. I know that many of you have traveled as we were singing in this land as your land, right? And you know what the rivers look like, and you know what the mountains can look like, and you know what our national parks look like or looked like before they got closed and their staff got reduced. And we are here to work for and draw together and reclaim this land of beauty and love. So this is a rally about love. It's about love for our country and love for our freedoms and love for our veterans who fought for those freedoms, yes? It's about love for our teachers who are already overworked and they just cut the Department of Education. It's for love for our children who have special needs and need a little bit more help, a little bit more support just to learn. It's about love for our elders that no, they don't belong shoved in the corner. We need them because what do? They show up for rallies, thank you very much. And they have hard-won wisdom to pass on to us, and we need them. This is about love for our children. And I read this yesterday, and it's just really stuck with me. It said, half of the world are women. The other half are their children. So it's for our children no matter what age they are, right? Because they're always our children. This is about love for our neighbors, and that brings me to why they asked a pastor to speak today. Because I report to the King of Kings, the Prince of Peace, the one who teaches us, love your neighbor. Greatest commandment, love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. And we are here because we are seeing too many incidents in which our neighbors are not loved. In fact, they're not even being tolerated. And so we are here on their behalf. I personally am offended. I'm offended in a whole bunch of ways by what's going on, but I am really offended by the idea that this administration, dare I say regime, is trying to impose something called Christian nationalism on our country. You've heard of it, right? Sure you have. Sure you have. So I just want to clarify, because the truth is that Christian nationalism is something that lots of people don't understand, and that even pastors are desperately going to seminars and learning about so we can talk about it. But it's hard to define. But it is something like this. It's an ideology, it's not a religion, in which the government uses the words of Christianity to try to push their own agenda. And their own agenda is that everyone should be a Christian mandatory. And their own, right? And their own agenda is that it should not just be Christian, it should be what they think Christian is. And part of what they think Christian is that they should be building gold statues of the president and bowing down to it. And I think somewhere in the book of Exodus it talks about we do not make false idols. We do not, right? Christian nationalism is also about forcing children to learn Christianity, their form of it, in their history classes as taught by people who have never really studied the Bible. And so for all these reasons, even though I am a pastor ordained in the Lutheran Church, going into my 23rd year, I vehemently oppose Christian nationalism, and I think that you should be able in the land of the free to practice any religion you like or no religion. So now I want to move to something I know a little bit more about, and that would be the words of Jesus Christ. And I just want to say this because it's another thing that this administration is doing. Proof texting, that is cherry picking, that is taking things out of context and trying to act like they know what the heck they mean. Jesus Christ, you'll all remember this one, whether you were raised as a Christian or not. I bet you've heard this before. Matthew 25, Jesus says, I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. 42 million Americans depend on SNAP benefits for groceries every month. These are people who are elderly and can no longer work. They are disabled by no fault of their own. They are our veterans. They are our children. They are in families where two adults both work, and between child care and the cost of housing these days, they still can't afford enough food to fill the bellies of their children. This administration wants to eliminate SNAP benefits. In fact, they have not authorized the funding for them beginning November 1st, and it will be hard with a government shutdown to get that put in place. Maybe you heard this story. It's in every gospel. It must be important. It's in one gospel twice. So 5 versions. It's called the story of the loaves and fishes, right? When Jesus took a couple of fish, 4 loaves of bread, depending on what version you read. Could be 1 fish, 5 loaves. We don't know. It wasn't very much food, okay? And Jesus took that and blessed it, and it was multiplied enough to feed 4,000 or 5,000 people. But here's the part that I love, and that is that the disciples came to Jesus and said, what are we going to do with all these people? We need to send them home hungry. And Jesus said, you feed them. You feed them. So we need the resources that, by the way, come from our, what was that? Oh, federal taxes in order to feed people. It shouldn't be a hard decision. Jesus never said, you're hungry? Let me see if you have a job before you get any bread or fish. Jesus said, I was sick, and you cared for me. You might have heard of this thing that they like to call the big, beautiful bill. It is anything but beautiful. In that bill, which was passed, they cut $1 trillion from Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. We used the Affordable Care Act when we were unemployed for 2 years. We would have been in very real trouble without it. $1 trillion. Rural hospitals are rapidly closing, and we expect more to close. Recently, I needed a hearing test, and I was all scheduled and looking forward to finding out if I get to join the group that wears hearing aids. I want in the club. And I got a phone call yesterday from someone sounding very sad who said, we're really sorry, but it was from the Mohawk Valley Medical Center, but our entire department has been closed. You could call Syracuse and see if you can get an appointment there. Okay. All right, Utica. So another thing that falls under this, I was sick and you cared for me. The Department of Veterans Affairs cut 70,000 workers who care about veterans and who make sure that they have the benefits that they have coming to them and make sure that they have mental health, which they all need after serving in the military. They cut VA benefits by 30%. If you were 30% disabled, they cut your benefits. So apparently they want to judge. If you lost both legs, then maybe we'll give you some money, but if you just lost a hand, not so much. 30%. If you have a 30% disability. Jesus said, I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. The United States of America was recently put on the Human Rights Watch list, which signals to other countries to use extreme caution in traveling here. 47 presidents, and we have never been on this list until now. We now share company on this list with Turkey and Serbia and El Salvador. And then there's this story you might have heard. It tends to make the rounds in church and not in church. It's called the Good Samaritan, about a man who was beaten and left for dead in a ditch, and 3 people walked by the man but did not help. Some walked on the other side of the road for plausible deniability, I suppose. One of them was a priest, I'm sorry to say, and he didn't stop either. But one did, and that one bandaged up this man and carried him to an inn and gave the innkeeper money and said, take care of him as much as it takes. As much as it takes. The one that stopped was a foreigner, a Samaritan. People that others in that land were afraid of and didn't think deserved to live quite so near them. Immigrants with no criminal record are now the largest group in U.S. immigration detention centers. No criminal record. 1,700 flights have carried 44,000 immigrants to various undisclosed locations, including 500 children on the age of 10 and 22 infants. They put them on multiple flights so as to confuse them. They don't know where they're going. They have not notified their families. They have not read them their rights. I was in prison and you visited me. Who said that? Jesus, that's right, we're still on Jesus. Jesus said, I was in prison and you visited me. Hundreds of people who were once detained in the Florida Everglades at the place called Alligator Alcatraz. Anybody hear about this abomination? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So hundreds of people from there have disappeared. As of late August, about 2/3 of the 1,800 immigrants who were held there in July have gone missing. They're not in ICE's online database. They can't notify their families and attorneys. They can't reach them.
I thought that was closed now.
It is closed, but that's how they found out that they were missing.
The Indians are the ones that got it closed.
Yes, that is true.
Their land.
That's right. It's the indigenous people that got it closed. That's right. That they put that on. That's right. You're right.
They took them to court and they beat them and they got it closed.
Jesus never said, I was a wealthy corporation and you gave me tax breaks. Jesus never said, I was a gun manufacturer and you protected my profits. Or Jesus never said, children being killed in their schools and their churches are the necessary collateral, that's a quote, to our unwillingness to regulate who has guns, how they store them, and how they use them. Jesus never said, I was a pharmaceutical company and you let me charge whatever I wanted. All that to say, in the days and weeks and months ahead, as you continue to stand up for your neighbors, to stand up for love, to say, we believe in the power of love and that it can defeat the love of power. As you all continue to do that, and as this administration continues to twist the words of Jesus Christ to fit their agenda, I want you to know there are thousands of churches like the one where I'm blessed to be a pastor who know the truth. And you know we have to keep talking about it because the truth will set you free. So I need to finish with this this little chant here because I just like the way it sounds. Also because my partner made it, and so I'm giving her props here. No tyrants, no kings. Never stop till freedom rings. No tyrants, no kings. Never stop till freedom rings. No tyrants, no kings. Never stop till freedom rings. No tyrants, no kings. Never stop till freedom rings. This message has been brought to you by the one I humbly represent, who is the King of Kings. Thank you. Did you want to talk?
Just to say thank you all for being here. Drive safely going.